In today's energetic transmission, we are working with Sophia. For those of you who aren't familiar with Sophia, because she is new to what I bring through in my channel, I'm going to briefly explain what Sophia does for you. Sophia is the organizing intelligence of divine wisdom within creation. She is like God, but not God. Similar expression vehicle. She is a principle of consciousness that structures reality through truth and coherence. You could call Sophia a builder. You could call Sophia architectural alignment. You can think of Sophia as the aspect of divine intelligence responsible for restoring alignment between a being and their original design. So Sophia is really good with working with the codes of a person, the light codes of a person, the light codes of everything. You can think of Sophia as builder code. Sophia's energetic signature is very strongly rooted in truth and wisdom. Sophia's name means wisdom. So she is really good at exposing illusions, things that are distorted, things that are not actually in proper alignment with who you are, where you're going, who you're meant to be. She's really good at returning people back to what they should be and what they're meant to be. And when Sophia is able to do this for someone, Sophia creates a really straight and forward path where things just fall away that aren't for you. And when someone has a lot of alignment problems in their lives, Sophia is really able to fine-tune that and move them back into where they need to be in a loving way that just melts away the distortions for you. So with so many of the clients that I see on a regular basis, I see a lot of issues with distortions and false identity, things like this, and they'll be looking for their life mission. They'll be looking for what it is they need to be doing in life, and they can't find it because they're looking through a distorted lens that isn't actually for them. It's what they believe to be safe. It's what they believe to be the right thing to do, or the what will work. But nothing built on that foundation can actually thrive because it's not them. So this transmission is really going to help with identity. That's what we're sitting down with Sophia for today, to get the right codes to the identity that are needing to be present and restore the essence of the soul in a loving, supportive way that allows that truth to be illuminated and those distortions to fall down. So because this is a transmission where we're working directly plugged into Sophia today, so this is going to be fun. Sophia also helps a lot of people with their sacred geometry. There's geometry in everything. It's what builds us all. And when we look at energy and we look at geometry, if that geometry is not correct, nothing on top of it can be correct. It's like a Jenga tower. So let's say if you were a child and somebody told you that you weren't good enough, well, that distorts the geometry. Every thought and pattern that comes after that is distorted, and it's all built on top of itself. And that's not actually correct. And so the identity structure becomes incorrect. And we often take these things upon ourselves where we will hold them in ourselves and we say, well, that's me. Because I got told I was too much once and I don't want to get told that again. So I repress myself, I change myself, and all of that really distorts that geometry. So in this transmission, that's another thing that we're looking at. Sophia also is really good at restoring what something was meant to be. So if there's places where you've kind of blocked yourself from your path, where you've been struggling with seeing that direct forward pathway, she's really good at cutting down the confusion, clearing out what isn't yours, not your thoughts, not your beliefs, things about the world that are not correct, like limiting beliefs, like scarcity, all that kind of stuff. Because Sophia deals so strongly with builder code, she can see where everything is out of alignment and she can naturally just kind of move that back into place. I'd suggest doing this transmission a few times, maybe even making it a regular part of your roster if you're working on a long-term goal. So let's get into how Sophia actually builds. She moves distortion out. She exposes it so you can see it. When I started working with Sophia, the truth came really quickly. And I saw all these things I just wasn't able to see before. And that's why I really wanted to bring her through for you guys, because she joined my team and expressed wanting to collaborate. And I was thrilled because I was like, I was so thrilled because I am a big fan of sacred geometry and architecture in the energy field. And so when I started just sitting in her energy, just sitting in it, I when I start working with the being, I often take a lot of time to get to know them. Just sitting in her energy. She explained to me so much about how the body works and chronic pain and all of these different things that I want to work with her to bring to you. But the identity shifts were fast. They were very deep. They were very honest. And I started being able to realign really quickly. Like, the insight was very powerful. And so I wanted to bring through her clarity for you, because sometimes we just don't know what's out of alignment. And we're looking in the wrong places. We're looking in the wrong places because why would we build something out of alignment? Well, because the identity is not in alignment, and that's why we're here. So a lot of the work that I'm going to be bringing through with Sophia is going to be about realignment and building a strong supportive foundation. Foundation has been like a really big part of the things that I've been channeling when I've been sitting with Sophia. So let's get into the actual transmission. I invite you to sit down somewhere with some water. You'll probably want some. A notebook. You may receive messages during this. Pardon me. You may receive messages during this transmission. And yeah, just get yourself somewhere comfy. And as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is going to continue to work on you after it's been done, because it is builder code. It's going to take some time to fully nestle into your system. So I'd suggest doing this like maybe once a week at first, maybe max every 3 to 4 days, and see what comes through. And I would really take notes about what's coming through in your life, because sometimes we get the clarity, but we can't integrate it right away. And when we take those notes, it helps it become like compounded, where over time we really start to see the patterns and we can look back on them and go, okay, I'm still in that. I don't mean to be, but I'm still in that. The identity. So here's the shtick with why you would want to repeat this transmission. Identity is vulnerable. If it's not on a solid structure, which it's not, 98% of us don't have solid senses of self or solid identity. That's usually something that is, you're either like supported in it as a child and you have that, or you've fought for it. You've built it. But in that transitional space, which a lot of the people listening to this are probably going to be in, it requires you to build strongly. And so you'll be vulnerable. You might be 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So that's why repeating this over time can have really profound effects. And if you're someone who's had a life that's been really difficult or tumultuous, then you would really want to onboard this as part of your regular, to get that identity super strong, because it will cause shifts in your outer life. And as you deal with them, then you get to the deeper layers of identity. Then you get to the deeper layers of distortion and truth, right? Where you can just move out those distortions, but they can run really deep. Some of these are at core values that you've had since you were 5. So, and a lot of this is DNA too, and like family, right? So it can run pretty deep. I would suggest working with it over time for a long period of time, maybe once a week if you feel guided to that. All right, let's begin. So I'm going to be channeling through this as I often do, but you don't need to have the sound on for this to work. So if you've listened to it once and you're like, okay, Kayla, you yapping, feel free to turn the sound off because it'll still work for you. And don't mind my dog. Okay. The first thing that I'm noticing here is just some upgrading in the crown chakra, just smoothing out. The connection between you and Source has been pointy, is the best way that I can describe it. Jagged, not always connected, not always smooth, not always simple. There's a lot of resentment at this center. It's like, sometimes in life it's been super easy for you to connect to Source, and in other times in life it's been gut-wrenching, to say the least, where the guidance that you were getting, it got distorted, and then it moved through the third eye and down through the body, and there was so much in the human sphere when it comes to distortion, like just these beliefs about how things had to be. They had to look a certain way. I can't trust you. Like all of these trust wounds with Source are really present here. So we're just going to help you have a really strong bond to Source that feels really authentic and easy for you. Easy movement, I'm hearing. Gentle, collaborative, co-creating. Pardon me. Now, for a lot of you, there is some issues with how you believe being a spiritual being has to be. For a lot of you, there's like a need to show up a certain way, like my gifts don't look like this person's, my gifts the way they are aren't good enough, I'm not as impressive, I'm not as gifted, my ideas don't stand strong enough. And I do want to say this isn't just spiritual but creative. A lot of you are strongly creative, and it's like because you haven't seen yourself represented, you don't feel like who you are is viable. 11:11 on my timer. You might not be feeling like who you are is good enough. And so you might actually be sidestepping who you are the minute the guidance comes into your system. And that's part of that jagged energy in the crown chakra. It really feels like there's like pointy edges of times that you did try to express yourself fully, but it didn't go the way that you wanted. And I'll say, like, as a longtime creative, you probably don't see yourself represented because you're supposed to be the representation. Seeing someone else doing what you're doing can make you feel better about it, but you are a unique source frequency. You should be able to just show up the way that you are. And this is something we're helping you embrace. We're working on that in the crown chakra here. Because this is distortion too. We're just releasing any distortions that would make you think that who you are or how you go about things is not right. There always has to be that first person. That first person that shows up and does it your way. And I want to also state a lot of you are looking for like long-term success, which makes sense. But when you don't get the response you want to the first thing that you put out, there's a part of you that shuts down and says, I'm not going to try that again. Success is compounded work over time. Success is being that cockroach that refuses to die. Success is figuring out as you go, changing it, and that longevity. But you can't have that longevity in your authenticity unless you're willing to show that authenticity. And you don't become successful by looking like everyone else. You become successful because there's something unique that you are offering, which means you really got to follow this current. So we're going to work at opening that up a little bit more. It almost looks like polishing a mirror here, like you're not seeing yourself correctly. And we're just going to polish that out. Working in the third eye now as well. There's coding that we're working with in the brain too, so we're just going to allow a few moments. This, to explain what this looks like to me, it's almost like moving Tetris blocks. So we're just taking space to allow that movement that needs to happen for each of you to happen. She is referencing like second guessing yourself as being a big problem here. Like when source guidance comes through, it's getting stopped at the third eye and it's going, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? Yeah, but I saw someone else do it and it didn't work. Oh, but I tried that once and it didn't work. There's a lot when it's not built on the right identity, source won't move it forward because it's like a magnet, right? So if you're building something from a projected sense of identity, like I want to build a business that looks this way, but it's not actually what's meant for you, and it's not actually what you want either, and it's not aligned to how your gifts work, and it's more aligned to make money and get away from something instead of using your source given gifts to change the world, or whatever alignment you want to come from that is authentically you, because that might be some of ours but not all of ours, and that's okay. Everyone's entitled to what their unique vibration and authenticity wants to put forward. It won't succeed, and it has nothing to do with you not being talented or not being good enough or any of that. It has to do with it not being the right alignment for your gift frequency to express itself. So really honing in on, and I'm going to be creating a session for this in Energy Mastery, and I'm going to put the details on Energy Mastery below, but it's my library of energy work. There's things like this in there, like transmissions, activations, energy work. It's all built with my team, just like this is. And so there's many sessions like this. I think there's about 70 sessions currently in Energy Mastery, and I add a new one every week, sometimes more than one. And it's all based on what my spirit guides are wanting to bring through in my larger team, and this is one of those sessions. But they advised me to put it on YouTube for higher reach, so I think that is going to be really aligned, because I can meet new people and new people can experience what I do. But what they're trying to explain, like what Sophia is trying to explain here, is just the alignment you come from matters so much more than you know. And when you create something, you have to create it from the point of, I'm excited about this, I'm in love with this, I could talk about this for 17 hours, like I'm thrilled by this, I feel so good about this, and not getting from the place of, it's like you bank on it, and you bank on it in a negative way, like you're betting on a horse. And the problem is, when you're like betting on that horse, it's like, oh, if you don't provide, I'm gonna pull back. But why are you deciding when that pullback needs to happen? Because that's Source's decision. What is right for someone in terms of speed might not be right for someone else. It also depends on your own like health codes and, your spiritual alignment and all of that. If anything is going bump and it's not working, it's a matter of alignment. This is why we're working at alignment and identity, right? Because it's crucial. So if there's something that's not working, then this would be what we want to address, because it's alignment. It's not that you're not good enough. It's not that it can't work. It's not that there's so much of the time there's a coding reason. So much of the time there's an alignment based reason. And you'll hear a lot of people will come to do a session with me and I'll be giving them information on alignment and they're like, that's not what I want. I'm like, but it's what you need. It's what will move the needle. It's what will actually get things working in your favor. This is an energetic place. And so building anything you build, you have to build it from the right intention. Don't build what you think you will sell. Don't build what you think will make money. Build what makes you happy, and that will make you more money than you could ever imagine possible, but it has to come from that place. So in terms of creative expression, or even how you fit in a relationship, this is that same thing. You can't be what someone, like what you think they want. You have to be you. You can't withhold parts of yourself, because that's not you. Anything you build on false territory that is not you will never reach the stability that you want, which is why we're here. These distortions, things like, oh, I'm not lovable if I speak my mind, or I'm not lovable if I take space, or I'm not lovable if I need a certain amount of things, or if I'm needy. Wrong alignment. And it's not to say your partner is the wrong alignment, because that's not what Sophia is saying here. It's more, sometimes we approach things from the wrong alignment. We don't take space authentically in a relationship. Our builder codes aren't clicking in because we're not letting them. We're not letting them be seen. We're not letting them be, like she's really explaining being outspoken. Like really just saying, this is what I need and that's that. I'm sorry, I need a pink wall in this room. That's that. I need it to look like this. What do you need? Right? And just taking up the required amount of space so your foundation can lock in, because it's looking like there's all these codes and they're just floating. You can't sit on your furniture if it's not on the ground, is basically what she's expressing, as strange as that sounds. And it's because those codes they're not locked in. They're floating. They're not on stable foundation. And when you start piling on top of them, well, everything on them is going to fall down. And that's where a lot of you are experiencing these widespread conflicts, I'm hearing. Like conflicts in relationships, conflicts in your job, things of that nature. And this is because The space wasn't created for you. There's a couple of things that can be happening. Either the space wasn't created for you to be in your authenticity, or you didn't show what your authenticity was and you didn't ask for it to take up space, or the other person isn't showing what their authenticity is and it's not taking up space, or, well, neither of you are. Any problem you have in your life, that's the foundation of it. That is the root. It is all tied to authentic self-expression. And if you are someone who struggles with authentic self-expression, you're going to struggle with scarcity because your alignment will be off. You're going to struggle with friendships and relationships because all of that alignment may be off. And I hear a lot of you, just in the energy, it's like good person, bad person. That's not how it works. If you struggle with your alignment and someone else struggles with their alignment and you're trying to fit puzzle pieces together, they can't click because they're not right. Some of this can be fixed by explaining what your needs are. Some of this can be fixed by, having those conversations that allow you to take up space. But some of it really needs you to fix yourself and for you to look at going, where have I not been authentic? And this is why we're creating this transmission for you, because some of you don't even know. So many of you were not taught what authenticity even looks like. And some of you may be believing you're authentic when you actually aren't. And that's not to point fingers at anyone or to blame anyone. It's just truth. You might have been built on the foundation of being a people pleaser. Well, that's literally inauthenticity from the gate, right? And so this is something that we're also correcting here. So if you are someone who struggles, who has the identity of being a people pleaser or has been, keep this in your regular roster. It will really help you move through those distortions, because what people don't understand is you aren't experiencing authentic love. You can't let it in. If no one knows who you are, if you can't speak up for your emotions, if you can't look at someone and tell them, this is what I need, you will never experience love at its deepest root, because you're rejecting it. You're rejecting it by not taking up space, by being who you are, by being seen and recognized for who you are, by being celebrated and loved for who you are. And a lot of the times the people around you, they really do want to love you, but they don't know who you are. So this is also withholding. When you withhold your thoughts and feelings, when you withhold who you really are in a process, whether that's, again, a relationship, a business, a friendship, a family dynamic, 2222 on my timer. We are very aligned today. And I think that's lovely for this transmission. But if you're not showing who you are, it is a magnet. Whatever you've created for you, all of your dreams, all of the things you created on the other side before you got down here, they were created from perfect alignment. So if you're trying to get them, but you're not aligned in how you're reaching it, that magnet signal isn't catching the other magnet. It has to be about alignment. And I do have an episode on my podcast, The Temple Within, about this. So that could be something worth checking out too, if you want to understand. I think the episode is about soulmates in particular. We were talking about, it's about manifestation and how to attract things due to that magnetic frequency, because it is literally just for you, but you have to be in your authenticity to light it up. And most people dip in and out of their authenticity. They don't maintain it because their lives weren't built to maintain their authenticity. And you might recognize yourself in this if you had a really difficult childhood where who you were was never celebrated. Then again, keep this in your regular roster, because you will have a lot of distortions to undo. But when you do, you're going to have a really fun, beautiful, supportive, uplifting life. Okay, let's take a peek if we're still in the coding in the third eye here. Are there any messages about the third eye, Sophia? We're moving a lot of weight, a lot of pain, a lot of density in this center. If you feel really strong emotion coming down from the third eye down through your body, just hold still through it, or hold on tight, basically. It's going to move through. This might be feeling pretty intense for some of you. There's a lot of grief. For a lot of you, this is grief about never being able to be who you are. And we're currently plugging in who you are, your unique frequency. So this can expose a lot of that grief. So if you feel that really strong emotional current running down, just stay cozy. We're going to work our way through it. But know that that's completely normal with what we're moving here. This is some deep stuff. Okay, so we are in a part of the brain that impacts the third eye and the third eye itself. And this is overthinking. that we're looking at here. This is like I want to say a hologram. I don't know if that's the right terminology. I've never seen this before, but I've heard of it. And it's like a false projection of how the world works and how things should be, and you know your place within it, quote unquote, which gross. That's a distortion. That's what a distortion looks like. It's something that you were told that is not real. And some of you have this running so deeply because there was an experience in your childhood or early life where it changed who you are at a fundamental level, where you were told, like, the way you look, how you do things, absolutely not, was the message that poor you received. And I'm sending you so much love here because that's so wrong. There was never anything wrong with who you are. Source created you perfectly, and somebody else came along and told you that you weren't supposed to be that. No. Rude. We're working with that right now because this is pressure. Those of you that have this distortion that's lighting up in this session right now, in this transmission, it's pressure. It's just this insane weight on everything you do, from how you dress, from how you eat, from how you work out, how you show up, what you look like how people love you. It's a really deep distortion. So we're gonna spend some time releasing this here. Y'all can't see me, but my face is literally contorted right now from how awful this feels, because it's so much pressure. It's like you can't do anything without second guessing yourself, and you can't do anything without putting it through this filter and going, am I going to be loved? Because the rejection you experienced was so soul deep and humiliating. They're using the word deeply humiliating, isolating, shameful to you here, that the identity was formed on that. And so, of course, you've never had that authentic self-expression, probably, because you might have fragments of it, but your soul is deeply terrified of doing anything that would cause it to be in spotlight for who it is because of how it was treated. So I'm just going to hold some space for you right now. This is all, it feels like it's in the brainstem. It's odd, but again, this is energy, so might feel like it's in different places for you. This pattern can be in different places, but just where I'm looking right now, it's the back of the head, in the back of the neck, in the back of the brain, in like the little, I guess, the nervous system. I'm not trained in anatomy, clearly. It's like all these like little threads coming out from the back of your head. I think that's the nervous system. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a doctor. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's coming down a lot too. Those of you who had that pattern, you're probably going to feel like draining through the ears, through the front of the throat, the back of the neck. There's like a sense of reorienting happening back here. And like, you might really want to stretch your neck gently after this session for the next couple of days. Now, these integrations that come from transmissions like this are really deep. So there can be a lot of emotional movement that you might not expect over the next couple of days, and maybe even body pain, because your body will be resetting itself. So just take very good care of your body, keep your hydration up, get some electrolytes, get some sun, some grounding if you need that. A lot can move from a session like this. Okay, anything else in the third eye, Sophia? Okay, so we're doing some like discernment and clarity upgrades in the third eye. This might be a really long session. I thought it was going to be 30 minutes. It's clearly longer than that. So my apologies. But I'm sure you can hear Evie behind me, but my apologies. We're just going to be working at clarity and discernment here. Again, the same filter that was in the brain is also on the third eye, and there's a sense of rejection. It's like you never saw people that looked like you, whether that's literally physically, like you might have had like, you know, unique features, something like that, different skin color, something like that. Like there was something that made you feel that you were not represented. Could be body image, could be disability. Like there's just, for those of you who have this pattern, nobody looked like you. Nobody acted like you. Nobody thought like you. You were isolated. And so your third eye, it really was looking for, scanning for recognition. And I'm hearing a lot of this was energetic too. Like your energy looked different. What you could do, maybe you had a lot of open gifts as a child. What you could do was different. And so there's a sense of needing to take that framework down because we are all souls and so we're all equal. But you never saw yourself, so you never gave yourself permission to be. There's like some really deep identity threads going on in here. So we're moving that discernment. We're upgrading that clarity. There's a lot of grief here too. So those of you who have this pattern are probably really going to feel it coming down through. This feels like the front of the face. And I do feel like some shoulder action here too. And I feel a lot of cold. So you might be experiencing that. Okay, so I'm also in the ears and jaw right now. And for some of you, like, all I can hear is like somebody was so critical of your identity that everything you did, you stepped wrong, you looked wrong, anything you did, oof, run. There was just this insane criticism. There are people around you that were very, very, very controlling when you were a child, or throughout your life. But I'm hearing so much about childhood here, and I think that's when the identity is primarily formed, right? So that's just a lot of what's coming through. You might have experienced it at a different time in life, but this to me, I see parents, I see grandparents, I see teachers, and everyone. You might have had a learning disability at a young age, or again, physical disability, or, like different language barriers, things like this. Learning is really focal, like central here. And it's just this energy clash, constantly just this energy clash, who you were running up against systems all the time. And you might have had a lot of issues with your body too, I feel. And this is just a large struggle for you too. You might have been neurodivergent, to be honest. This sounds like a whole lot of struggles that someone with ADHD might have experienced, right? But you struggled greatly at finding a place, and everything you heard about yourself was not good. And your peers and you might have felt so different that it's almost like the way you approach them, your energy was so different than theirs, that there's again this not so hard on the clash, but more like reaching for connection and not finding it. And it's almost like they're showing the visuals of attaching cords and the energy flowing back and forth in a harmonious way, but this is like the cords would be cut. Like the attachments weren't formed. The attachments you needed when you were a child weren't formed. And for some of you, you might have had absent parents, or you might have had absent family members. Like the pillar structure of what you needed in masculine and feminine energy was not there, or not correct. So that's really big here too. So a lot of nausea. Some of you might have had like digestive problems really young, like acid reflux, or like dietary sensitivities, things like that. Like that. It's like reality left a sour taste in your mouth, even as a child. Like I'm hearing like as young as like 3, 4. So a lot of intensity, a lot of really strong intensity. And for a lot of you, your bodies were really open. There might be a lot of you that are channels. Your body was really open, and it was just trying to process all this really negative energy. That your identity was not formed to be you, it was formed to protect yourself. And so that's why you might have always felt rejected by other people, because you will attract what you are and what you believe to be true. So it's not that you're not worthy of love because you're attracting these patterns, it's because you believe them to be true that you're attracting these patterns, where you were not nurtured, you were not seen, you were not supported, you were not well received by everyone around you. And so that sent a message to your nervous system to not show your authenticity. And then when you don't show your authenticity, that magnet ain't going off to the people who should be in your life. They don't see you. And so you'll go with the people you're comfortable with, which are the people who will royally mess you up. And so you might really struggle with finding the right people. Okay, so we're working in the throat and jaw right now. Sophia's just addressing the TMJ, the dental alignment. A lot of you don't have good dental alignment. and it's like gritted teeth. Like you might struggle with grinding your teeth at night, things like that. And like the jaw structure itself might not be right. Like you might have crooked teeth or a high palate, crowded palate, something like that. So we're just doing some work here because your teeth represent structure energetically. So that's like your energy didn't have room to flow. So your teeth are a visual representation of that. As strange as that sounds, energetically, your teeth hold code for all kinds of energy that you might not even be aware of. So there's a lot of energy here. So we're going to work on that for a couple minutes, and I'll just let Sophia transmit any of the messages that she needs to while we stay here. Like, a lot of you need to just make sound. As weird as that sounds, some of you are so vocally expressive. You might have been like theater kids, something like that. Like, you're fun. You're very fun. You need to let your freak flag fly. And you might need to write. There's a sense of needing to express yourself, and you're not. And you can express yourself without sharing it with anybody. You need to let your emotions out. They're what you might not understand, especially as a psychic or a channel, which a lot of you probably are. There is information in those stems. There's information in that sound you keep making, or the songs you keep wanting to sing. Like, they're whatever you want to express yourself with, there's energy moving through that. You have to get it out, and so you have to move that energy or it stays stuck within you, and then you have a sore throat and your throat is tight and you're like, why is my throat tight, why is my voice cracking? And you'll struggle, and that's going to cause, even if you have an open throat chakra, you have a very strong throat chakra, you're still going to struggle with this if you don't let it out. Now, you could use something like indigo water. Don't drink it. It's not for drinking. Okay, disclaimer, it is not for drinking. Indigo water is a magical product. It's blue, but it is, I believe it's like an alcohol base. You don't drink it. It's just a cleansing item. Do not drink it. Repeat. So you would just kind of put it on your finger and apply it to your throat and the back of your throat chakra. That can really help release this energy. But you can express it through writing. You can express it through drawing. You can express it through body movement. But this is the center that it's wanting to come out of, if that makes sense. It's like your voice is expressed through those things. So there's a particular emphasis on the voice, on singing, on writing, to just let the soul's voice come out however it wants to come out. Some people express the soul's voice through dance, so if that's you, that's fine too. It's just the uniqueness of the soul needs to be expressed. It's like that episode in American Dad where Roger the alien is like really rude to people and he repressed it and he got so sick he almost died. It's kind of like that. You have to let it out. It has to go somewhere. I'm not saying you're going to die, but I'm going to say that your magnetism is going to get heavily reduced. And that might be another reason you're struggling with authenticity. So even if you make time for like an hour a day to like shake it out and like shake your body out and then listen to music you like or sing or play guitar or whatever it is that you do, draw, write, whatever, you'll notice a huge alignment in your body and what it can process. But and that's also causing issues in the jaw because it's like you're actively suppressing yourself. So it's like locked down. It doesn't have the movement that it needs. So that could be a really big part of the impact. All right, let's look at the throat here. For so many of you, and this is other lives too, not just this one. If you guys have like Saturn retrograde in your chart or like Uranus retrograde, you probably will relate to what I'm saying, but there was probably potentially some really deep consequences when you expressed yourself that were not okay, that you've experienced. Like that could even lean towards like physical contact that was not okay. It just like these really deep, fast corrections of you, and it really made your body afraid of expressing itself authentically due to like actual danger for some of you. So we're going to just take some time here and we're moving some coding in here for sure. Those of you who feel that are going to feel like a tightness in the throat, probably like this. It might feel like anxiety, so just bear with the feeling while we move this. But it'll go away. It's just needing to be moved. that like some of you need to be singing, some of you need to be doing something like light language, some of you need to be channeling. So if you're feeling the call to do any of that, I don't care if you do it in your room, I don't care if you do it publicly, you need to be moving that, because there's so many codes in that for you, but also for other people that will recognize it when you share it. But that needs to be moved for that understanding to come through you and that healing to come through you. It's like how your body is wanting to release things. And I'm hearing like really long walks for some of you. That's like a big thing for a lot of you, is like really long walks with headphones on where you can just process, and it has to be somewhere that's pretty, like a lot of leaves, foliage. That's ideal here. Some of you are like scanning in group dynamics really deeply to see whether or not you'll fit, and it's messing with your authenticity as well, because, well, it's not that you can always have safe people around you. I do believe that that can be a thing, but many of us don't. And I feel like when you're constantly braced, you might write off people that actually are good for you sometimes. Because again, people are in the gray, people are good and bad, but a lot of the souls that are listening to this are struggling with nuance. They see people as good or bad, and if they see any bad, even if they've seen a world of good, they're going to cut and run. And that is 4114 on my timer. That is something that you guys are struggling with really deeply. So we're just removing any bracing patterns here. Because it's almost like a lot of you guys got told you were quiet when you were children, but you're really not, not with the right people. So we're removing some of those bracing patterns. Now, I'm looking at the entire skeleton right now. Like the entire body, skeletal body. And there's a lot of repressed energy in the bones, so we're going to be moving that. It's like some of you might have been like the stabilizers for your friends groups. Like you might be the supportive friend, you might be the friend that like everyone dumps on, but you might not receive that support in return. And it's because you can hold a lot. Since you were a child, you've probably been holding other people because the people you grew up with were like deeply unstable probably. And you had to learn like how to support other people to protect yourself. And so now that's like who you know, like that's what you're used to. So a lot of you are not supposed to be in that pattern, and that energy is actually supposed to be going to you. So we're going to set the scale straight, and that's like in the skeletal system. So you might feel this all over your body. For some of you, sorry, we're getting mega specific. For some of you, you might be a little hypermobile. There's a sense of like the body had to brace so much when you were children that you're literally going off in the wrong directions. And your feet, I'm hearing, like your ankles, like where you have hypermobility can tell you a lot. If it's the hands, it's like giving, over giving, right? Your knees are structural supportive foundation. Same thing with your shoulders. Your spine is holding everything up. Your ankles and feet are going to be direction. Your ankles are going to be needing to pivot really often, and your feet are going to be like directional, but also what you can support. For a lot of people, it's your hips, and that's like birthing, like literally, whether you're male or female, that's like, you know, allowing that energy to move through. So there's like imbalance, right? There's a lot of balance energies that are locked up in the hips, because it's always needing to balance more, like and the masculine and feminine sides of the body, like if you have it on the right side, that's going to be your divine masculine. If you have it on the left, that's your divine feminine. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a sense of that being unequal in a lot of you, especially the divine feminine. The divine masculine is much stronger in the collective I'm working with right now, because you guys are people who hold everything up. And your skeleton is really reflecting that, because it's like more weight than your body can carry. 4444 on my timer. It's like more weight than you're supposed to be carrying structurally, and you've had to undergo it, and it's like the muscles can't even support that amount of weight because it's energetic. And if you have laxity, right, a lot of you probably have this and laxity, it's overextension energetically. So we're going to be working at repairing some of that. Whew. That is really deep energy. You might feel, some of you are probably really feeling this in your lower back. I can literally feel like things moving, grinching, literally grinching. Someone needs TLC in their lower back and their hips. And this is impacting the jaw too. It's all in the neck. A lot of you have neck instability from like looking the other direction, always watching, always scanning. That's in the neck. And also like having to have a higher perspective, I feel, is coming through. That's like in the neck. Then watching your words. A lot of you became like really good at empathy and like watching your words, because you grew up in places where you had to like, you couldn't express your feelings directly. You had to be very like soft, or a lot of you learned this to blend in with your peers. You like made yourself useful because your energies didn't blend with other people. So you found your strengths and you played to your strengths. And for a lot of you, that's how you speak. You might have like really soft voices, or like really beautiful voices, or something about your voice that's really unique. So that's coming through in the jaw. And there is something coming online in the eyes, which is, some of you are really artistic in so many different ways. Like for some of you, it's like interior design. For some of you, it's painting. For some of you, it's just, you see the best in people. Like you see what looks good on a person. Like you have an eye for that. That's coming online, because that's a gift that is from your soul, and it's really tied to your authenticity. So, and a lot of you have clairvoyance that was blocked. That's coming online right now too. So yeah, you might feel like the feeling is freshness in the eye. I don't know how to describe it. Your eyes might be feeling fresh, whatever that means. It feels like there's wind blowing in my eyes. Like my eyes were really dry, now they're not. Like that's how the sensation feels. Like there's rejuvenation going on in the eyes. And for a lot of you, that third eye upgrade that's happening right now is also trust. For some of you, like there was that scanning pattern is releasing in the body. The one that we were looking at in the neck, it's showed up in a few places. That's like releasing in the eyes right now. Okay. Anywhere else we need to work, Sophia? The heart? Okay, so we're going to work on the heart through the whole rest of everything, but giving and receiving is deeply imbalanced because people can't see who you are. Some of you have like the coolest spiritual gifts, and I'm not just talking like clairaudience or anything like that. Like I'm talking like, you know how to love someone so deeply that they would never worry about themselves again. That is such an authentic and beautiful and powerful soul gift. Some of you have like musical gifts that express through the heart, and because that authenticity is being dampened, like music is tied to your life force for a lot of you. Like you need to be doing music. I don't know why. Particularly like piano is coming through here, but also there's just this feeling of like needing to write, needing to play, needing to sing, whatever instruments you do use. Like for some of you, it's guitar. There is maybe like composing energy that you might have, like you might like to write. That's really strongly coming through. Like you need to play with sound, whether it's sound healing, that might be really strong for some of you. Singing, tuning forks are coming through here, singing bowls are coming through here. You need to have fun with sound because it plugs into your field and it releases like literal heavenly gates energy. Like it's absolutely beautiful. And for some of you, you're withholding that because of how you're going to be perceived. But like, if you could feel what I feel right now, you would literally just go buy that and do it because it's incredible. It's such a beautiful energy here. And when you do that, when you lean into, for those of you that this is for, when you lean into that musical talent, it's going to move things in your field like nobody's business because it is tied to why you came here. It might not be like how you express yourself in career, but it is part of your soul codes. It is part of your soul gifts. So you need to be doing that. for those of you that message is for. And for some of you, it's writing. Like, some of you might channel through writing, and that's in the heart. And so when we clear this center, you're going to see these gifts activate more and more. For some of you, it's speaking. Some of you are able to just, like, the way your channel works, it comes through your throat and right into your heart. And you have this gift of, like, knowing what to say, and, like, codes come through your voice. So when you are really honest with the people around you, whether that's soft or whether that's harsh, it's a beautiful thing. And for some of you, that's like public speaking as well. It's not just psychic. So you might work in like a care field where you have to speak a lot, but that's like really coming through. Okay, we're working in the stomach now too. Whew, there's a lot of self-reflection here. This is the identity center, the solar plexus. So enough said, right? So we're just gonna work here. There's so many layers to peel back. So that's what Sophia is doing here. Just peeling until we get to the authenticity, because it's almost like you covered yourself up with like layers so people couldn't reach you because it got too painful when people knew you. So you don't let yourself be known. You might be more comfortable expressing yourself to people you don't know than you are with people you do. So we're working there. Those of you who are channels, there's like really deep archangelic connection here. Like when you tune into that authenticity, your ability to work with archangels is going to get very strong. They're going to become very strong in your life. It's like some coding that's here and coming online the more that we work with that identity sphere. Because for some of you, you might be really afraid to be perceived with working with angels or your gifts. So that's like you gonna channel. You gonna channel. So we're working at that. It might be a healer. It might be like if you're drawn towards Reiki healing, that could be really good for you. So we're just working at that. That's taking a little while. It is the seed of identity for a reason. And in your sacral chakra, just while we're working at this center, taking a peek there, you need movement. For some of you, it's dance, and particularly like things like belly dancing is coming through really strongly. Like maybe even pole dancing, like something where you get to be sensual, but something where rhythm is a strong component is needed. And I think belly dancing, it involves a lot of shaking and a lot of symmetry and a lot of connection with like sexual flow. So that's like very deep for some of you. That's like really powerful for some of you right now, but just moving in general. Some of you need like a shaking practice that you're doing every day. That would be like ideal for you. You just need to move it out. For some of you, it's going to be like listening to music alone in your room once a day and just like connecting with the music and flow. And for some of you, it's a social life. Some of you really need a social life. Like, I feel like some of you might get so absorbed, especially if you struggle with the people-pleasing pattern. You might struggle so deeply with not making time for the people in your life. And there's like a heavy emphasis on the right people. And I'm going to be taking a peek at the womb space too. We all have a womb space, whether we're male or female. That's like an energetic womb space, right? Not physical, but energetic. And that's what we manifest through. Whew. We're stripping that right down. The reason we're stripping that right down is because it's not built with truth. So one thing Sophia has been doing through this entire session, regardless of the information that I'm channeling, those are just the messages she wants to pass. There's been a lot about structuring what your actual truth is. So we're working at that at the moment. That energetic womb center, it's not calibrated to your truth. It's calibrated to what you think you can have and like what you think you deserve, which is just like really not on the mark with what source's truth for you is. So we're stripping that down. New furniture, new wallpaper, paint job, clean the windows, everything. Some of you are not seeing the magic in your life and you're being invited to find it. Like for me, I listen to music when I need magic. Like I look for it because life can be really difficult sometimes. It can get really heavy, and like you might need to like watch movies that you loved when you were a child. You might need to look at things like unicorns, or like imagery that makes you feel happy, energized, hopeful, alive. Reading books. Like you might need to get lost in worlds that quote unquote aren't real. Are they real? Probably, but you know what I mean? Like things like anything that really made you feel hyper connected to magic would be ideal for you, because you might not, when you lock into that, it actually brings those hope codes into your body. And that's why so many adults like watching cartoons. And so when you put yourself in those games, those movies, those books, those energy transmissions, if you're like watching videos that are like, connect with unicorns, like things like that, like do that. I can't stress that enough. You need those codes in your body because they are going to fill you up with light and recharge your battery. And the reason your battery isn't recharging is because you're disconnected from magic. You need like that fairy tale magic in your life. And like dragons and unicorns and fairies are very, very significant here. Spending, even if you keep like an image of a dragon or a unicorn in your home, or like you like art that has them, that would be good. Anything, making time for that kind of energy regularly would be ideal. You need that energy because they are energetic beings, right? Like we might not see them, quote unquote, some people do, but they are energetic beings and they're here to help you, and you can connect with their energy. And these stories are like a way that you would have done that in the past, and it's probably the easiest way. If you're a channel, you can just call in unicorn energy and connect into it. And if you're an empath, you can do the same thing. So if you feel called to that, I would suggest calling them in. I mean, even like hold like a tarot deck that's like a unicorn oracle deck, something like that. That could really help as well here. Okay, in the root chakra, we're just looking at helping you feel safe in your identity, whatever that identity is, whatever the truth to that identity is. And we're moving some building blocks here. Whew. Us like restructuring a lot in the skeletal system. Some of you are too serious, and you're really fun people, but you're in this space where you've just been serious. You've been on the grind, on the hustle for a long time, and you actually just need that balance back to shift everything back into place because you're just not having enough fun. You might need more time off, and to immerse yourself in things that feel fun for you. Like I'm hearing like play. Like when I need to play, I do like tie-dye. Like just things that are just maybe not useful, but they're cool. Like crafting, like art. Like you need hobbies and you need fun. And you need time to move your body. That's like really gonna help you balance this out. Because it's just, there's a lot of truth that wants to come online, but it can't because the body's not being moved. And it's just like you're maybe married to your job a little bit right now. You're maybe married to your job because you have to be, but Spirit is saying like it can't be that serious, because if it is, like you're gonna lose all your like love for life, and some of you might be in that place. And that's really like what they're wanting to help you balance out, because even just some minor shifts could really bring that hope back online. For a lot of you, it's just a heavy time to be in the collective right now. Okay, working at the larger auric field, Sophia. What are we looking at? Or we're just clearing some things out here in all of your auric bodies. Making sure you're connected to source, making sure you're connected to the earth, clearing your other chakras in your system. We're also like repairing the colors in your aura. For some of you, like when that, like the colors in your aura are all the energies you're currently experiencing, but for your perfect identity calibration, some colors need to be turned up and some colors need to be shifted out and some colors need to be smoothed over. We're also looking at auric rips and tears here and aura protection, so that way people can't impose their identities on you when they're not authentically yours. And we're also calling in some angelic protection for you too. You might feel that like running shifts over your aura right now, like little waves. I'm just gonna let that recalibrate and repair for a few minutes. Okay, we're just closing the session down. I'm hearing that we're complete. And yeah, as mentioned, repeat this session as you feel is necessary. Keep up your water and electrolytes. Take note of any dreams that you have. This is going to work for at least a week after you've received it. So I would say repeating it about once a week, every 2 weeks would be ideal. But if you're really struggling, like once a week would probably be the sweet spot of getting those identity codes where you want them to be. And if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. And thank you for spending this time.